All kids, and when I say kids, I mean anyone who is not an adult, are insecure. Even the most self-confident and self-adjusted kid still wants to be liked by their peers, and can again be hurt when made fun of. Before we continue, please like the video, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you will be notified when I upload the next video. I don't mean the laughing and joshing between friends. I'm talking about actually being made fun of. I'm talking about being mocked and humiliated. Kids dread that, because even the most self-confident kid still dreads being mocked and ridiculed by their peers, even the ones that they don't like or care about. It's true, nobody likes that, and kids really hate it. In school, I liked my friends and got along with most people. My friends and I weren't the popular kids. You remember them. They might have been on the football team, or they might have been the pretty girls. Although, looking back as an adult, those kids were not all that cool. I didn't think so, but I digress. In those days, those were the popular kids, whatever the reason. I typically did not interact with them unless necessary. My friend Manu and I were on the soccer team, and we did great. Manu was one of my best friends, and we had a lot in common. We both loved surfing, both of our families were mixed ethnically. We both loved outdoor activities, such as hiking and mountain climbing, and we were also both passionate about conservation from an early age, thanks to our tree-hugging parents. One day after soccer practice, Manu was hungry and commented on how we should go to McDonald's and get some junk food. We had had an excellent training and worked hard. I was starving, and I confess junk food sounded terrific. Chicken McNuggets, cheeseburgers with those tiny burger pickles that come from a giant plastic tub, salty french fries, soda, or a McShake. And yes, there is something to be said for food that your mother rarely purchases for you because it is not good for you. Junk food. It is called that for a reason, but sometimes it tastes oh so good. In other words, I agreed completely. Unfortunately, Manu didn't have any cash on him. He had like a penny in his pocket and had no idea where that came from. No problem, I had cash, and he agreed to get me next time we decided on a junk food run. Outside the restaurant, I could smell the food. You know that fast food smell that makes kids salivate and our mothers cringe? My mother used to tell me that it was just the smell of cooking oil. I never cared. To me, it smelled like burgers, fries, and all sorts of other cholesterol-filled sodium delights. Looking up at the menu, everything looked good. After soccer practice and you're starving, everything seems good. We ordered McNuggets, bacon cheeseburgers, and large fries each, and sodas. Salad at McDonald's doesn't feel right. When you go there, you want what they are famous for. I felt myself salivating as we ordered. I was sure Manu was as well. The cashier totaled up our order. I counted out my money. And crap, I was $1 short. $1. I heard snickering behind me, but I didn't think anything of it. The cashier was cool and said don't worry about it. I thanked her and promised to come back with $1, and she laughed and said that it was no big deal. Then she got our food. Turning around with our food, I discovered that Blake and some of his friends, in other words the popular kids, were laughing. Whatever, I rolled my eyes. I was starving and just wanted to eat. Manu and I sat down and began to stuff ourselves with sodium and cholesterol. It tasted divine as we washed it down with sugary soda. "Did you order a poor boy sandwich?" It was Blake. His friends were laughing as they walked, taking their food out of their car. Manu and I continued to eat our food. Who cares? Blake didn't even know what a poor boy was. I had been to New Orleans and had one. It was delicious. I forgot about Blake's comments and enjoyed the rest of my day. By the next morning, it wasn't even a mini thought until I got to school. On the wall near my locker, there was a paper with Manu and my yearbook pictures on it. Under the photos were written, "Poor Boys." I took the paper down and tossed it into the trash. It was stupid, but I wondered who else had seen it. When I saw Manu, he looked upset. Apparently, he had received a similar picture. In the 2 classes that I had with Blake, he kept making comments about how sad it was that some people couldn't even afford McDonald's. I ignored him and did my work. I was feeling worse than I had when I saw the stupid picture. At lunch in the cafeteria, Manu, me, and Alex, and our friends were sitting together eating when Blake came by and asked if I needed help to find a new home. I looked up, about to ask why, when he said, "I mean, you must be homeless if you can't afford McDonald's." I felt my face turn hot with embarrassment. What had not seemed like a big deal the day before now felt like one of the worst moments of my life. Undoubtedly the most embarrassing one. I couldn't think of anything to say. And of course, Blake couldn't just stop at that. "So, what is it? Do your families have cardboard boxes next to each other?" Blake asked. "Do your dads go to work to beg for change?" Blake continued laughing, and so did his friends. They parked their lunches at the next table. Great. We were going to listen to this for the duration of lunch. Part of me just wanted to get up and walk away, but I knew that wouldn't make things worse. So I just sat and ate my lunch. "Oh, don't throw away your milk. The poor boys might need it," Blake chuckled. The girls and guys that he was sitting with laughed. It was annoying and embarrassing. "Man, I'm full," Blake continued. "But I still have some left, Jason. Do you or Manu want my leftovers? Maybe you could take them home in a doggy bag." "Shut up, Blake," Alex yelled finally. "It was only $1 for God's sake. I know you've come up short. I was standing behind you when you did." "That's so cute, po' boy," Blake laughed along with his friends. "You've got a girl standing up for you. You can order poor boy sandwiches from now on. It's named for you." "A joke isn't funny if you have to explain it," I blurted out. "And judging by how many times you've had to explain it, it's a really lame and not funny joke." "Oh, okay, poor boy," Blake went on. "Sorry to wound your poor little feelings." My shame turned into anger. I knew all about rising above, but sometimes you just can't. "Blake, let it go," I warned. "Knock it off." "No, Po," Blake laughed. "Do you remember last year?" I asked. At one point, Blake had attempted to start a fight with me, and he lost with me laying only 2 hits on him. He had been unable to get 1 hit on me. This was not something I was proud of. I had never been a violent or aggressive person. I still am not, but this really had to stop. "Do you want a rematch? Did you forget what the floor tasted like because you have to occupy your time making stupid little posters? I bet it tastes better now, with all the food on it." Blake cursed at me, but he did stop. He sat down and ate his lunch, mumbling amongst his friends. I finished my lunch. After that, I would still hear Blake mumble his insults at me, but he did it from a distance. A few weeks later, I was behind Blake in the same McDonald's. Ironically, he came up a couple of dollars short. I stepped forward and put the money on the counter. Then I left the restaurant to go somewhere else. After that, Blake went back to ignoring me. I was more than happy with that. All that ridiculous was over $1. It was stupid. Kids, and I reiterate, kids means anyone who is not an adult, can be cruel and petty. The silliest things can cause us shame. Something as stupid as coming up $1 short at McDonald's. Blake behaved like a cruel child that day when I came up short. But I became closer to being an adult when I put my money on the counter when he came up short. I wish I could say that I never suffered embarrassment or humiliation again in my life. It would not be true. But I also learned about embarrassment as well. I learned that eventually it goes away, and I learned how I could best respond to it. I hope you liked the video. Please do not forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell. Thank you. Hey, thank you for watching. Please click on the right to subscribe if you liked the video. And please don't forget to click on the bell icon when you subscribe so that you can be notified when we upload a new video. Watch more videos on the left, including our playlist. Thank you.